Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful. Today, Grace told Liam 6 terrible words after she was sentenced to prison. The MRI verifies Liam's miracle cure while everyone fears the worst. While Liam was recovering at Bill's, Grace received another startling call, and Deacon predicted that Steffi would view Sheila as a hero. Nurse Sheena replaces Liam's dressings at Bill's. Bill expresses his gratitude to the entire medical staff. He simply cares about his son's survival and doesn't comprehend any of it. Eager to see Liam and hear an explanation, Hope, Steffi, and Finn come outdoors. According to Bill, they are still awaiting the test results to determine whether everything went as planned. There was no time to talk about it, Bill says. They complied with Grace's insistence that they take urgent action. Although the nurse is hesitant to admit so many visitors, Bill is certain that his son will be overjoyed to see them when he awakens. Finn is astounded by the impressive figures when he looks at the charts. To make calls, the nurse departs. Finn questions their actions. Brain surgery, says Bill. He has no idea what that even implies. They had to go for it because they had no other choice. Though appreciative, Hope finds this odd. Bill is unable to even recall the name of the other physician. The liability would not be assumed by the hospital. Although it seems shady, he believes it worked and it was done in a very professional manner. Finn is going crazy with all of this. He inquires as to if any literature exists regarding the process. Bill's primary concern was keeping his son alive. Finn is still unsure if Liam will recover there. According to Bill, the care is on par with that of the hospital. Without consulting Grace, they push this through. Finn is glad that everything went smoothly. Bill is hoping that the MRI results will confirm their prayers. Liam is seated with Steffi and Hope, who continuously compliment him on his bravery. They are gushing about how much they love him as he wakes up. Grace texts Bill regarding the MRI. They all assume the worst as he shakes his head. He tells that the tumor has disappeared and the scan is clear. What a miracle, exclaims Finn. As the women assure him that he will spend a considerable amount of time with his girls, Liam chuckles. According to Finn, a medical history was taken today. He appears perplexed. Taylor and Ridge discuss how things may have turned out differently at Forrester. The fact that Steffi is doing well makes them happy. To find out how Steffi is doing, Brooke joins them. Ridge claims that everything is behind them and that Luna won't be an issue going forward. Liam's bravery has won them all over. Ridge informs them that Liam would pass away shortly after his recovery. According to Taylor, he is attempting to create memories for his girls. Brooke is experiencing heartbreak. Taylor questions whether the trip to Italy should be cancelled. When Liam dies, Brooke fears they might be halfway around the globe. Ridge believes they should not wait just yet, but they will act in the family's best interests. Taylor is confident that the three of them can work together to support Kelly and Beth and assist their girls get through this. In the design office, Electra continues to tell Will about Luna's insane behavior. Thanks to his brother, Steffi is doing well. Katie arrives to remind them that although Liam survived the shooting, he will still die. She is certain that killing someone has saddened Liam, who is a calm person. Moreover, he continues to face a death sentence. Will finds it incomprehensible that his brother would keep his illness a secret, but his mother recognizes that he would want to protect the children and not seek sympathy. Katie continues to talk about how wonderful a parent Dad is. She is aware that the idea of abandoning your children is intolerable. Liam is a fighter, according to Will, and they will explore every possibility. My big brother is that. Furthermore, I'm not prepared to lose him. To his mother, Will sobs. Bill Spencer stared at the glowing screen of his phone, Grace's name flashing alongside the long-awaited, terrifying results of Liam's post-operative MRI. The room at Bill's mansion, a temporary intensive care unit filled with the hushed reverence of a vigil, crackled with unspoken despair. Steffi, her fierce loyalty momentarily eclipsed by raw fear, Hope, her gentle strength strained to its limit, and Finn, the brilliant surgeon grappling with the incomprehensible, all braced for the confirmation of their darkest fears, the finality they believed Liam's secret battle against an inoperable brain tumor had preordained. Yet, the universe, in a twist as jarring as the initial diagnosis, delivered not an epitaph, but a psalm. Bill's headshake, initially misread as grief, transformed into bewildered disbelief as he uttered the impossible words. The scan was pristine, the tumor, the monstrous shadow stealing Liam's future, was simply gone. This wasn't just recovery, it was annihilation. The air itself shattered, replaced by a cacophony of gasps, choked sobs, and Finn's awestruck declaration, "This is a miracle," a pronouncement that hung in the room not as hyperbole, but as the only lexicon capable of describing the defiance of every medical textbook, every grim prognosis, every resigned acceptance that had settled over their lives. Liam, emerging from the fog of anesthesia to the tearful coos of Steffi and Hope professing their love, met the news not with immediate comprehension, but with a dazed laugh, a sound as precious as life itself, as the women painted a future suddenly restored, watching his daughters, Kelly and Beth, grow, a vista snatched back from the abyss. Finn, however, remained rooted in professional shock, his mind reeling through the impossible sequence, the frantic, unorthodox intervention orchestrated by the enigmatic Grace, who had bypassed hospital protocols with jarring calls and relentless pressure, compelling Bill into a desperate gamble with a surgeon whose name Bill couldn't even recall, performing a brain surgery Bill admitted he didn't understand, outside a sanctioned facility, driven solely by a father's primal need to seize any chance for his son's survival, a decision that seemed, even hours before, like a dangerous, dodgy last roll of the dice rather than a viable medical pathway. The skepticism had been palpable, Hope's quiet unease about the strangeness of it all, Finn's urgent, baffled inquiries about literature on such a procedure, Bill's own halting explanation about hospital liability and his blind faith in Grace's professional setup, the nurse Sheena's initial reluctance at the unconventional home care despite Finn's stunned acknowledgement of Liam's inexplicably perfect vitals. Now, the MRI, cold, clinical, and irrefutable, validated the gamble with a verdict that transcended science, miraculous cure. The relief flooding Bill was oceanic, a tsunami washing away weeks of helpless terror, his gratitude towards the mysterious medical team, particularly the steadfast Sheena, now imbued with profound, almost sacred significance. Yet, the miracle existed within a complex, unresolved tapestry. While Liam laughed weakly, embracing his unexpected reprieve, the echo of his terminal sentence, delivered by Ridge mere hours earlier at Forrester Creations, still resonated, "Even if Liam recovers, he will die soon after." Brooke's heartbreak, Taylor's poignant suggestion about Liam making memories, and the debate about canceling their Italy trip underscored the cruel duality. A miraculous cure for one fatal threat did not erase the other. The shadow of the tumor was gone, but the shadow of his eventual mortality, though pushed back into an uncertain distance, lingered. Simultaneously, the aftershocks of the recent violence rippled elsewhere. At Forrester, Ridge, Taylor, and Brooke found solace in Steffi's safety, swiftly pivoting to dismiss Luna as a resolved nuisance, their gratitude for Liam's courage in shielding Steffi tinged with Ridge's stark reminder of his impending fate. In the design office, the chatter focused on Luna's breakdown and Liam's survival of the gunshot, Katie arriving to starkly articulate the cruel paradox everyone felt but hesitated to voice. Liam survived an assassin's bullet only to remain under a death sentence from within. Her words painted his likely devastation at taking a life, even in self-defense, and the unbearable agony of a father facing separation from his children. Will's raw anguish, "That's my big brother. And I'm not ready to lose him," cried out to Katie, captured the desperate hope rekindled by the miracle, the fierce refusal to accept the old prognosis, the burning desire to fight anew with every possible option, fueled by the undeniable proof that the impossible could happen. The MRI confirmed a biological miracle, the erasure of a physical scourge, yet it simultaneously amplified the emotional and existential battles ahead. Finn's struggle to reconcile the impossible cure with medical reality, the Spencer family's journey from despair to fragile, bewildered hope, the Forresters' navigation of relief mixed with anticipatory grief, and Liam's own monumental task of integrating this second chance, a reprieve from one death sentence gifted amidst the chaos of averting another, into a life suddenly, stunningly, reopened. The clean scan wasn't just an endpoint, it was a seismic shift, a new origin point radiating waves of joy, disbelief, profound medical mystery, and the heavy, beautiful burden of a future unexpectedly regained. demanding to be lived fully under the long, complex shadow of what was, and what might still yet come. Grace's jarring call had set a desperate chain in motion. The MRI's impossible result had irrevocably altered its destination, leaving a city, a family, and a miraculously cured man standing on the precipice of a profoundly altered, yet still uncertain, destiny. With regard to Dr. Buckingham, Bill Spencer is making a grave error. Bill Spencer and how Dr. Grace Buckingham is causing him to make a big mistake. He certainly wants her to save his son Liam Spencer's life, but the problem is that she is requesting $1 million for the life-saving surgery that he urgently requires at this time. With regard to Dr. Buckingham, Bill Spencer is making a grave error. However, Bill was so fast to agree when she requested him to send the money that he hasn't even bothered to check at her qualifications and credentials. Who does that? Of course, there was a lot to say about the issue on the internet. I wonder if he even had a tumor or if it was something milder and she made it seem bigger to get money, some people have even said in their comments. She is dishonest. In particular, her want to be with him following the GS. As if she was worried they would discover he wasn't actually dying and didn't have a tumor. He might have become ill from the medications she gave him. But I kind of see Bill's side, remarked another show critic. If he believes Liam is dying and is wasting time. He has faith in Buckingham and wants to do everything as quickly as feasible. Is Liam Spencer going to make it through the surgery? He wants to save Liam and make amends. I would stop at nothing as a parent to save my children. Additionally, the following comment was made, perhaps Liam doesn't actually have a brain tumor. It was constantly set up by Dr. Grace. Perhaps Liam has been taking medication, which is why he appeared ill and felt awful. Grace kept receiving texts from someone in a recent episode. On weekdays, the CBS network broadcasts The Bold and the Beautiful. Look up the timings in your local listings. Bill Spencer, a titan of industry forged in the fires of ruthless deals and unwavering self-belief, a man accustomed to bending the world to his will with the sheer force of his ambition and the weight of his fortune, now finds himself navigating the most treacherous territory imaginable, the potential loss of his son. Faced with Liam Spencer's alleged life-threatening brain tumor and the ticking clock of borrowed time, Bill has thrown his characteristic caution and due diligence to the wind, placing Liam's fragile existence entirely in the hands of Dr. Grace Buckingham. This decision, driven by a potent cocktail of paternal desperation, crushing guilt, and the seductive promise of a swift solution, is not merely risky, it is a colossal, potentially fatal mistake unfolding in slow motion, a masterclass in how wealth and fear can obliterate reason when stakes are at their zenith. The core of this catastrophic error lies in Bill's breathtaking, almost willful, suspension of disbelief regarding Dr. Buckingham herself. Presented as a renowned neurosurgeon offering the only viable, albeit experimental, surgery to save Liam, Buckingham arrived shrouded not just in medical jargon, but in an unsettling aura of opportunism. Her immediate, non-negotiable demand for $1 million wired before the procedure was a glaring red flag, a siren blaring warnings about her priorities and ethics. Yet Bill, the consummate dealmaker who would dissect a multi-billion-dollar acquisition down to the last decimal point, who built his empire on verifying every claim and scrutinizing every counterparty, didn't hesitate. He didn't demand credentials, second opinions, or even a basic verification of her standing within the medical community. He heard the price tag for his son's life and reflexively reached for his checkbook. This instinctive leap, bypassing any semblance of verification, is profoundly out of character for the meticulous Bill Spencer and speaks volumes about the depth of his panic and guilt. He isn't buying a surgery, he's desperately purchasing hope, however dubious its source, desperate to erase the specter of past failures with Liam. Who, indeed, does that? Only a man so haunted by the prospect of failing his child again that he willingly blinds himself. The deafening silence from Bill regarding Buckingham's qualifications isn't just an oversight, it's a gaping chasm of negligence. The internet, acting as a collective conscience and detective agency, has erupted with precisely the questions Bill should be asking. Viewer skepticism cuts to the heart of Buckingham's legitimacy. I wonder if he even had a tumor or if it was something milder and she made it seem bigger to get money. This isn't mere cynicism, it's a logical question arising from Bill's lack of basic verification. Did Buckingham exploit initial scans, exaggerating a benign condition into a terminal emergency to trigger Bill's panic and open his vault? Furthermore, Buckingham's behavior after the initial diagnosis raises profound ethical and practical concerns. Her insistence on remaining by Liam's side post-GS, presumably general surgery or similar, described by viewers as looking afraid they would find out he really didn't have a tumor, is chilling. It suggests a need to control the narrative and prevent independent medical scrutiny. Even more disturbing is the persistent theory, fueled by Liam's fluctuating and seemingly medication-dependent symptoms, the meds she gave him could have been making him sick. Could Buckingham be inducing or exacerbating Liam's condition to maintain the illusion of a critical tumor and justify her exorbitant fee and experimental procedure? Her furtive, unexplained texting only deepens this well of suspicion, painting a picture of someone orchestrating events, not just treating a patient. Is Liam a gravely ill young man, or an unwitting pawn in an elaborate, dangerous con? While Bill's actions are reckless, understanding the psychological maelstrom driving him is crucial to grasping the magnitude of the mistake. Defenders echo a powerful sentiment. I kinda see Bill's side, though. If he thinks Liam is dying and is running on borrowed time, he wants to do whatever as soon as possible. He wants to make it up to Liam and save him. As a parent, I would do anything to save my kids. This is the emotional core Bill is trapped within. His relationship with Liam is a complex tapestry woven with threads of genuine love, fierce protectiveness, and deep-seated regret over past betrayals and manipulations. The thought of losing Liam now, potentially without having fully atoned or proven himself as a reliable father, is an existential terror. That $1 million isn't just payment, it's a desperate down payment on redemption, a frantic attempt to finally do right by the son he so often failed. His immense wealth, usually a tool of control, becomes a dangerous liability here. It allows him to bypass the tedious, time-consuming processes of verification and due diligence that ordinary people face. He can afford the gamble, financially. But the potential cost isn't monetary, it's Liam's life. His trust in Buckingham, as mentioned by a viewer, is tragically misplaced. It's not trust born of evidence or rapport, it's the trust of a drowning man clutching at the only life preserver in sight, regardless of whether it's seaworthy or riddled with holes. He trusts the idea of salvation she represents, not the woman herself. This desperation-fueled trust is blinding him to the very real possibility that Buckingham is not a savior, but a predator exploiting his deepest vulnerability. Therefore, the central, terrifying question hanging over Liam's fate, will Liam Spencer survive the surgery? Is inextricably linked to the monumental mistake Bill is making before Liam even reaches the operating table. Buckingham's lack of verified credentials casts immediate doubt on her surgical skill. Is she even qualified to perform such a complex, high-stakes procedure? If she is qualified, what are her actual success rates? What are the specific, non-sensationalized risks of this particular experimental surgery? Bill doesn't know. He hasn't asked. Her potential malfeasance, whether it's misdiagnosing the tumor, inducing symptoms, or simply being a fraud, introduces catastrophic variables. If Liam doesn't have the severe tumor she claims, subjecting him to unnecessary, invasive brain surgery could kill him or cause irreversible damage. If the medications she's administered are making him sick, they could compromise his ability to survive the anesthesia or the surgery itself. Even if the tumor is real and the surgery proceeds, Buckingham's focus on the upfront payment and her secretive behavior raise serious doubts about her commitment to Liam's well-being beyond the financial transaction. Will her judgment in the or be clouded by the knowledge that her payday is secured? Is Liam receiving genuinely optimal care, or is he merely the vehicle for a lucrative con? Bill, by failing to demand transparency, independent verification of the diagnosis, and scrutiny of Buckingham's background, has potentially signed Liam up for a procedure where the surgeon's motives and competence are fundamentally unvetted. He hasn't secured Liam's chance at life, he's potentially delivered him into the hands of an unknown, possibly dangerous, variable. Bill Spencer's tragic error with Dr. Grace Buckingham is a stark parable about the limitations of wealth and the perils of unchecked desperation. His billion-dollar empire is powerless against the primal fear of losing a child. Yet, in his frantic rush to do something, to wield his money as a magic wand to fix the unfixable, he has abandoned the very principles that built his success: scrutiny, verification, and strategic calculation. He has placed blind faith in a figure whose very presence is shrouded in ethical ambiguity and disturbing questions. He has prioritized speed, the wiring of $1 million, over the essential safeguards that could actually protect Liam. The potential consequences are unthinkable. Liam could die on the operating table under the knife of an unqualified or negligent surgeon. He could be permanently disabled by an unnecessary procedure. He could be slowly poisoned by medications meant to sustain a fraud, or he could survive, only for Bill and Liam to discover the terrifying truth that the entire ordeal was a manufactured nightmare for profit, shattering any remaining trust and leaving psychological scars far deeper than any physical one. Bill Spencer, the master manipulator, is being potentially manipulated on the most profound level, and the price of his desperate, unverified gamble isn't measured in dollars, but in the very life of his son. His failure to look beyond Buckingham's promise, to demand proof and prudence, isn't just a mistake, it's a dereliction of his most sacred duty as a father, transforming his vault of gold into a potential tomb for Liam's future. The true tumor threatening Liam may not be in his brain, but in the shadowy motives of the Dr. Bill so recklessly empowered, and the catastrophic lapse in judgment that allowed her access.